All right, so here we are once again with another McFarlane DC Multiverse Edition unboxing, and this is the Sandman. This is Wesley Dodds, the Sandman, the original Sandman. There have been lots of Sandman characters in the comics at both DC and Marvel, but this guy was the first Sandman of the comics. He was a guy with a gas gun that could put evildoers to sleep, and he left little poems and yes, we are still in Halloween mode, and this is, I think, an appropriate superhero for us to open up on Halloween. Not that he himself is a particularly creepy guy, but he did have to deal with a lot of creepy villains and situations. One of my favorite comics ever is a little comic called Sandman Mystery Theater, in which Wesley Dodds was the main character, and he went up against a bunch of basically just really disturbing and perverse serial killers. Like, I'm talking like villains like the Tarantula and the Phantom of the Fair, which actually were Golden Age characters, and were originally a little more sort of traditional comic book characters. Hell, the original version of the Phantom of the Fair was actually a superhero, not even a supervillain. But man, they did a number on that character. He was really sick and twisted. So yeah, this guy has dealt with a lot of sick and twisted situations in the comics. I feel like that's appropriate for Halloween, and I just got him. I'm pretty excited about him. Now, when I first saw this figure, I thought the color scheme was kind of strange because it did not look like the color scheme that he wore in Sandman Mystery Theater, and it also didn't look like his original Golden Age color scheme. So I was kind of confused as to what they were thinking with the color scheme of it. But I had forgotten that somewhat more recently they'd done Sandman miniseries, and the costume that he wore in that was actually pretty closely colored to this. You can see the vest on the cover looks more gray, but I'm willing to imagine that that gray vest is actually supposed to be a black vest, so maybe this is a little more accurate. But I haven't read that series yet, so I don't know if it's any good. Anybody, if you've actually read the most recent Wesley Dodds Sandman miniseries, and you can recommend to me whether or not I should read it, I would greatly appreciate it. But I did really love Sandman Mystery Theater with Matt Wagner and Steven Seagal writing it, Guy Davis on the artwork. And there's some other artists that worked on it too, but Guy Davis is the main one that I remember. A lot of great stories, and not for the faint of heart. Like, it's a very pulpy superhero action, but with a Vertigo twist. So it was, and I do mean twist. Like I said, it was pretty sick and twisted. So there's the trading card, same piece of artwork we had on the back. That's what the back of the trading card looks like. We'll get back to that in just a second. Let's go ahead and get the figure stand out of there. And it's our typical figure stand these days, a matte black figure stand with a white classic style DC logo embossed onto it. So let's go ahead and have a look at the figure, get him out of the package. And he's got a rubber tab right across his torso. And there's one around his forearm here, one around his upper arm here, probably because his arm is bent up at this angle, one around the barrel of the gas gun, which annoys me, and then one around each ankle, it looks like. And I believe that's all of them. Wesley should hopefully come right out of there after that. All right, so he does have a gas gun, so it's nice that he is a character that comes with a gun now, because now they're allowed to come with guns. Finally, at the end of the McFarlane run, they're like, oh, you can do guns now. Yeah, thanks. And it's really stuck in his hand really well. But we'll go ahead and take it out so we can have a closer look at it. And while this character may look somewhat different from how he looked in the old Sandman Mystery Theater comics, I would say the design of the gas gun looks pretty similar, where it looks like he took an old revolver and kind of modified it so it had this aerosol can on the front of it. And you can see the artwork on the back here. He's got several of these aerosol cans for backup ammo. And he's also got the same sort of straps around his torso like that version had. I'm guessing that's where he probably keeps the holster under his arm. So it might be a little tricky to get that gun back in there. So one thing that I do not like about this particular paint scheme, and I'm going to fix this, is you can see that he actually does have like what looks like skin in between the it might just be like tan fabric or something, but it looks to me like it's skin in between the gas mask and the suit. I don't like the exposed skin there, so I'm gonna paint that black. I'm gonna get rid of it, and if I can get an extra one of these, I'll probably repaint him to be more in sort of like the classic colors, like, or at least the way he was in Sandman Mystery Theater. I don't know if I'd wind up making him like the full-on Golden Age Sandman colors, where he had like a purple cape and a bright green suit. He does have green pants already. And he's got like a more of a brownish sort of cape, and it almost has like a trench coat. It almost looks like it has more sort of like a leathery sort of look to it, which is fine. I like that just fine anyway. But the gas gun is really cool. The figure itself looks good, even though, like I said, it's not really a color scheme that I'm used to on him, but it's not too far off. It's close enough, I think. I think most people would probably look at it and say that it just, that's Wesley Dodds, and they'd be fine with it. And I'm just being particular. That's just me. Don't take that as like too harsh of a criticism of the actual toy. It's just my opinion on I'd probably rather you looked a little bit more like Sandman Mystery Theater than the series that I haven't even read yet, but that's just me. And of course, this figure is mostly a repaint of the Heath Ledger Joker that we've seen a few times, like Alfred, the Jeremy Irons Alfred. He reuses a lot of these same parts, and the Question reused most of these same parts. But I think that's kind of to be expected. It makes sense if Mcfarlane came to me and asked me, how should we do a Golden Age Sandman figure, I would have recommended repainting the Joker. I would have thought that would have made sense. But we'll come back to the figure in a minute. I want to talk about the trading card real quick first. So we already had a look at the front of the trading card and the back of the trading card. So let's go ahead and read the trading card. And it says, Sandman, Wesley Dodds, the Sandman, data file, real name, Wesley Dodds. Sporting a suit, hat, cape, and gas mask, he employed his detective skills, sleeping gas, and other gimmicks against a legion of crooks. Touched by the power of Morpheus, the Lord of Dreams, World War I veteran Wesley Dodds was plagued by nightmares of evil deeds. Eventually, he realized that these were prescient visions, and he used his vast fortune, scientific genius, and years of experience as a world traveler to create the Sandman, an eerie mystery man stalking America's vilest human predators. What did I say? Twisted characters. Some of the most twisted villains I've ever read in comic books, even in Vertigo comic books. He was a founder of the Justice Society of America, fighting uncanny menaces and battling the military might of Nazi Germany and Japan, but was always most comfortable hunting the darkest examples of human evil. And, if you think about it, that's kind of disturbing, the fact that Wesley feels comfortable hunting the most evil people imaginable. So maybe he is a creepy enough guy to talk about on Halloween. How about that? But yeah, his stories, they were superhero stories, but they were kind of Vertigo type superhero stories, and they definitely could also fit into the horror genre, I think. So yeah, man, I've got a lot of cool stuff coming up for you. I just saw the corner of my eye because I still had them sitting here. I'll be opening up this soon. Frankenstein, the NECA Ultimate Edition Frankenstein. Very cool. We'll have him to open up shortly. I've got the Phantom of the Opera, the Mask of Red Death version of Phantom of the Opera. He looks really cool. Can't wait to open that up. I have the glow-in-the-dark Phantom of the Opera. I've got the glow-in-the-dark Bride of Frankenstein. I've got on the way, but don't have them yet, the Ultimate Edition of the Wolfman and the glow-in-the-dark version of the Mummy. So we're going to have lots of fun with Universal Monsters in the days to come. But let's get back to the Sandman for now. All right, so let's talk about his articulation some. So Wesley can look up about that far, look down about that far, tilt his head kind of quizzically from side to side. It's good to be able to move your head for expression since you can't see the face through a gas mask. And I do remember a certain author whose name I will not mention, who was the writer of the main Vertigo Sandman, the creator of that version of the character, was talking about Wesley Dodds once and said, gas mask is a pretty terrible disguise for a detective because you can't hear anything, you can't really see too much, and everything smells like a gas mask. But Wesley's thing is he'd basically go and start snooping around, and if somebody got in his way, he'd hit him with the gas. Like he's a tough guy, but he's not really much of a fighter. He's a bit more of an intellectual, I think, but cool character. I really liked him. So he does have that kind of cool Mcfarlane torso articulation underneath the vest. But since he's got this long vest and trench coat, there's only so much you can do with that. Of course, the arms rotate all the way around at the shoulders, and they raise up to the sides about that far. And then he's got a bicep sole, so the bicep does rotate all the way around. He's got a double jointed elbow. That's about the range of motion you get at the elbow. And of course, he's got the cool Mcfarlane wrist articulation, so you can move these wrists around pretty much any way you want to. It looks like, are these? Yeah, these are the hands that are sculpted to look like gloves, so that's nice. He's got a gripping hand on one hand and a solid fist on the other hand, so he can punch somebody's lights out if he needs to. Sandman, like I said, he's got the cool Mcfarlane torso articulation. You can rotate him all the way around to the waist too, so that's good to know. He can kick up pretty darn far. In the comics, Wesley was a practitioner of yoga. He was well versed in several East Asian, disciplines, and yoga was his personal favorite form of exercise. So he was a very flexible dude. He wasn't necessarily like a big muscular guy. He looked kind of pudgy, even a little bit, the way he was drawn in that comic. I can relate. He was a stocky sort of character, but he was still like fairly athletic, and he could move when he needed to. So that was nice. But yeah, he's got double jointed knees. That's about the range of motion you get at the knees. No boot cut or anything, and he's wearing like a pair of pants, and that is going to interfere with the ankle articulation a little bit, but he does have the cool ankle articulation. So the ankle rotates all the way around where the ankle meets the shin and where the ankle meets the foot. And Wesley's foot can point down about that far, point up about that far, and then he's got toe articulation just to show off. So this was a cool figure, one of my favorite characters. I've been looking for this one for a while. I'd seen him pop up with a few people on Facebook, and I was pretty happy to finally run across him for myself. And like I said, the paint job on here is, hey, Max Games and Toys is here. How you doing? Always good to see you. So yeah, I was really happy to turn this guy, to finally run into this guy. So I kind of felt like, you know what, I'll go ahead and open him up today. He fits in with that Halloween theme well enough. And, I've got other characters to open up that I kind of feel like, they'll fit in with the Halloween theme just fine. Some of the other Masters of the Universe characters that I've got to open up, we can do some of those. And of course, like I said, I've got just a whole bunch of Universal monster stuff to open up. We got Frankenstein, we got Phantom of the Opera, we got Bride of Frankenstein, we're gonna have the Wolfman, we're gonna have Dracula. I've got the Migo, Nosferatu. I'll be opening up him sometime this month. A lot of cool stuff for Halloween. I love Halloween. And of course, October 21st, I'll be opening up Marty McFly over there, and then Doc, I'll open him up November 5th. So I got plans on this. Maxine says, why are you wake up? Dude, I'm pretty much always awake unless I'm asleep. I don't have like regular sleeping patterns like most people. When I'm awake, I'm awake, and when I'm not, I'm not. And it's like I've had people ask me before, like, when do you sleep? And I say when I'm tired, because I might even go to sleep after this stream is over because I don't have to work tonight. So like I might as well, at least take a little bit of a nap or something. But I've been busy all day, so I haven't had a chance to. I wanted to open up a figure earlier today, and I didn't really get a chance to. And I wound up going to Target, and I wound up picking up Sandman. So I was actually pretty glad that it worked out that way, because then Sandman could be the figure that I open up today. And who knows when I'm going to open up tomorrow? I think the Mummy is supposed to show up tomorrow. The glow in the dark Mummy that I have to open up. So I'll have him. I could maybe open him up, and then I could go ahead and open up the other glow in the dark figures too for like the rest of the week. But also whenever my Big Bad Toy Store shipment comes in, that's going to have the Ultimate Wolfman in there, and that's going to be another one I'm going to want to open. And that's going to have more G.I. Joe stuff for me to open up. So going to be a big bunch of G.I. Joe stuff to open up very shortly, because I've got figures from like the last 2 waves of G.I. Joe that I haven't had a chance to open yet. And granted, I was kind of late on getting Footloose and Frag Viper, because I didn't actually pre-order those. I just found those at Walmart. But, you know, I've got those I've got those to open up at pretty much the same time as like the next wave after that. So we got Snake Eyes and Cobra Commander and Major Blood. And what I'm waiting on to, well, obviously I'm waiting on, you know, I'm probably going to do those in November. But I'm still waiting on the Sergeant Slaughter Mercer 2-pack. That's the other thing I've got coming from Big Bad Toy Store. And then we got some Super 7 stuff. We got like just a whole lot of cool G.I. Joe stuff coming up, and a lot of cool Masters of the Universe stuff, and a lot of cool Universal Monsters stuff. I've still got to open up this Mummy that I bought a while back, and I'm really excited about this one. So I was really excited about it when I picked it up, but I haven't had a chance to open it yet. But it worked out pretty well, because now I can open them up at a Halloween time. So Max S. Alan, what do you think about Mondo figures? I don't actually have any Mondo figures, but they look pretty cool to me. It's just they're expensive. That's why I don't have them. But I had seen like a few that I was impressed with. So I do like some of those. Also like the 5 points figures they're putting out, like the little 3 3/4 inch 5-point of articulation figures. Those look really cool. Speaking of monsters, I was actually looking at their set of monsters with that cardboard castle backdrop, and I was thinking that looked pretty cool, so I might try to get that sometime in the future. That's, like, again, still kind of pricey, but at least that one's a little more affordable to me. Anyway, really happy with the Sandman. Definitely recommend picking him up, especially if you're like me and you're a big fan of the Golden Age superheroes, and he's always been one of my favorites. I had the issue of Secret Origins. It was one of the earliest issues of Secret Origins, the 80s Secret Origins series. And I think that was when they started splitting up half of it to tell a Golden Age character and half of it to tell a more modern character. So half the second half, that was Sandman. It was his origin. And the first half was Guy Gardner. I think it was the first half was Guy Gardner. But yeah, a great Brian Bolland cover, and that was where I kind of first started to be a fan of this character. And finally, the Sandman Mystery Theater series, like I said, that was just some great creepy comics, and I did love those. But yeah, he's always been a favorite character of mine, so I'm glad to have him represented. Max Games and Toy says, and what? I think you might have got interrupted there. I don't think you got to complete your thought, But yeah, so I'm glad that I finally was able to get this guy. I was worried I might not find him. So man, I'm gonna have just like a great Justice Society shelf once I get all that stuff together. I am planning on getting more shelves eventually. I am planning on cleaning up this couch very, very soon, because God knows I've got so much stuff on this couch right now. It needs to be cleaned. Especially since I got the computer set up this way. The 2000X He-Man, yeah, those are expensive. I think those are really awesome though. I just can't afford them, man. They're all so expensive. So, and like we discussed that before, how like especially with something like Masters of the Universe, like if I've got it's not going to be enough for me to have one character. I'm going to want to have them all, and then that's going to be just all kinds of money thrown after that. Like even if I could only, I should put more figures on the wall. That is definitely a plan. I've got figures here that I want to put up on the wall that I've had sitting over here for, like this Batgirl figure. I'm going to put her up there. I'm probably going to put her like over here somewhere. It's gonna look nice, hopefully, when I get done with it. And some of this stuff that's back here is stuff that I want to put on the wall. Some of this stuff back here is stuff that I haven't opened up yet. But I figure I'm probably gonna put my extra Ben Affleck Batman is gonna go on the wall, and my extra Adam West Batman, he's gonna go back there on the wall. So. Man, I would have bought every single one of those Adam West figures if I could have afforded to. I would have been greedy and just been like, yeah. Max Games and Toy says it's $125 for a 7-inch figure, and yeah, that's. I don't speak a lot of Spanish, but that's mucho dinero. I know that one. Yes. But anyway, I think that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I had a lot of fun with this episode. And now it's midnight, so technically it's the next day. So probably later today, I'll have another episode where I open something up. I might go ahead and open up Ardeth Bay because I know he's one that I've been sitting on for a while. And I had been trying to get caught up with Universal Monsters. Like, I had the Ultimate Dracula figure, which I keep him over here because I really like this figure. And I had him a while back and opened him up on this channel a while back. And then also the 3 glow-in-the-dark monsters that I've already opened, which was Dracula, Frankenstein, and Wolfman. I've got Mummy on the way. It says he's supposed to show up tomorrow, but I'm still, well, technically later today. It says he's supposed to show up on Wednesday, but I've been kind of skeptical about that. I mean, I guess we'll see if it shows up later today or not. I guess we'll find out. You know, but if not, I've got plenty of other stuff to open anyway, and I'm sure it'll be here soon. So between the Mummy and the Wolfman and the other glow-in-the-dark characters that I have, and this stack of Ultimate figures, yeah, I've got plenty of monster stuff for us to open up this month. So that makes me happy. Maxine's Choice says, Disculpe, senor. Ha ha ha. Great Spanish you have. Yeah, the very little Spanish that I speak, I like to think that I speak it well. I've had somebody tell me before that like my Spanish pronunciation actually is pretty decent, but it's the actual knowing of the words and grammar that's what's holding me back. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for stopping by. If you enjoyed it, please make sure that you like and subscribe. I'm still not used to the computer yet. And all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Wesley Dodds, the Sandman, both the character and the figure specifically. I think they did a great job with it, even though it's the more modern style coloring of it. I probably would have preferred something a little more like the Sandman Mystery Theater comic, or even the Golden Age one. Max Games and Toys says same vibe with Formo Toys, $40 for a 5.5 inch figure. Yeah, like I think like a lot of the smaller companies, it's a little bit more of a boutique sort of thing. So you know they maybe don't have like maybe can't get stuff done as bulk as like a lot of like Hasbro or Mattel or somebody could. So they can't get it done as cheaply because they're not getting as much stuff made, if that makes any sense. But you know, it's still some pretty high quality stuff that you can get from those companies. I wish I could afford to get more of that kind of stuff, honestly, because I do like a lot of the stuff that NECA is like, I think a little pricier than like a mainstream toy company, but I managed to get a lot of good stuff from them. So both with the monsters and the Ninja Turtles and various other licensed things that I've gotten from NECA over the years. But But yeah, they always do good stuff, and McFarlane's always done really good stuff. I'm gonna miss it when they're not doing DC anymore. Hopefully Mattel will do a good job, but I'm still gonna miss getting the kind of quality I get from McFarlane, which I really enjoy. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Bye. Okay.